Hello, and welcome to the special edition of the State of the Fleet Industry series produced by Automotive Fleet Magazine. And this video series is designed to put a spotlight on key leaders in the fleet management industry. And today I have the honor to interview Connie Brinkmann, Vice President of Risk Management for Enterprise Fleet Management, who will talk to us today about trends in risk management, safety best practices, the accident claim process, and subrogation. So with that introduction, welcome and thank you for joining us, Connie.
Thanks, Mike, for having me.
You're quite welcome. So let's dive right into our discussion. With your title of it being Vice President of Risk Management, what does risk management or what role does risk management play in effective fleet management, and how do your responsibilities help fleet managers better manage their fleets?
Okay, with all fleets, risk management really starts at the very beginning, when you select your vehicles, making sure you have the right vehicles for the right job, and then also making sure you have the right drivers in those vehicles doing the job. You want to make sure that they are familiar with how to use the vehicle and they're safe drivers behind the wheel. And then, of course, you want to make sure you have the right coverage in place. And so that's what I do. I confirm that there is the right coverage in place so that the potential risk is protected, the brand is protected. And so it starts from the very beginning, Mike.
Yeah, very good. So I like the concept of brand protection, and I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit further on how risk management is crucial to company brand protection.
Yeah, again, when those vehicles are out on the road and you have the drivers behind the wheel, your brand is what everyone sees. It's like a traveling billboard, if you will. And so you want to make sure that you are having preventative measures in place to make sure that your drivers are driving safely and you're limiting that liability risk exposure. And so think about that every time you put that vehicle out on the road, you put that driver behind the wheel. And do you feel like you have those preventative measures in place so that you are representing the best brand possible?
Yeah, and when a fleet manager is operating and managing a fleet on a day-to-day basis, there's all kinds of risk and liability exposure that's out there. And for our next part of our discussion, I was wondering if you could elaborate further on how you control that. And one area that I'm thinking of in particular is personal use. So, here you kind of lose control as to who that employee is, or who that person is that's driving the vehicle, especially if significant others or licensed children are allowed to drive the vehicle. How do you deal with personal use?
Yeah, so personal use, it's a great benefit that many accounts offer to their employees. And so just like you would with your regular employee, you want to make sure you know who's behind that wheel. So do you have a company car policy? Let's start there. And does it say who can drive? Can a spouse drive? Can someone else in your household drive? And then do you have a driving record? And are you able to get a driving record to make sure that they should be behind the wheel? So even if it's your employee or their spouse or other driver, or they have it on personal use, when whoever's driving that vehicle, you just need to make sure that you are protecting yourself and making sure that you've done your due diligence and knowing who is behind the wheel. Again, back to that brand I keep going back to make sure that you're representing the best business possible if a loss were to happen.
Yeah. So with the risks or with the services that Enterprise offers, does this apply to self-insured fleets?
Definitely. Both self-insured, traditional insurance, either one. So think about it when you're selecting that driver to be behind the wheel. If you're allowing that personal use, it comes down to if they're going to have a claim. If you're self-insured, that claim, that whole entire expense is going to come back to you. If you have traditional insurance, you're going to have a deductible that you elected. But at renewal time, all of your losses that come into play are going to impact your renewal. So really important, no matter self-insured or traditional carrier, however way you want to go, you need to make sure you're always looking to see how you can reduce your risk on the road.
What's your view on the use of telematics in managing risk?
So telematics, I really feel over the last 5 years, it's helped tremendously. So telematics can really show you the driver that is behind the wheel, how they're driving. And so my suggestion would look at your company, see what your average safety score might be, and who are the outliers, who are the ones that really need to improve in their performance. Telematics is going to tell you who's speeding, who's not wearing their seatbelt, harsh braking, acceleration. So just look at all of the data so that you know where you need to curb some behavior or maybe enforce your company car policy a bit more. And so telematics to me really is great at helping with safety.
Hmm. Yeah, these are all great best practices that fleet managers can implement in their day-to-day operation. But as we all know, in a real world, bad things do happen. And when these events do occur, what types of services does Enterprise offer to help facilitate the resolution of these events in terms of claims process and subrogation efforts?
Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, you may have the safest fleet, but you still likely are going to have that accident. And so, uh, with us or with whoever you might choose to have a program, you want to have a great claims partner. You want to have someone that's going to be able to help your driver, especially if they've never had losses before. They're not familiar. They're not sure what to do. So have that great claims partner that's going to help with that first notice of loss. Help your driver get their vehicle to a reputable shop. Have people like on my team that they have the expertise in reading estimates, understanding what should be repaired, and then going after the at fault party. If you're not at fault, you definitely want to make sure they're collecting back for you. We really take that serious because we want to collect back for you to lower your losses as much as possible. Again, if you're self-insured, that's your money, right? And so it's really important to have that great claims partner. But if you have traditional insurance, again, it's very important because all of this does impact your renewal. So we really take pride in that, and we feel like we have a good program to help our clients in that claims area when that loss does happen.
One area that a lot of fleet managers may not have a good understanding is in terms of subrogation strategies. So, wondering if you could just elaborate on that as we conclude our discussion.
Yeah. So again, you don't, if you're not at fault, you definitely want to make sure someone's going after that at fault party. And if you have a deductible or not, it really shouldn't matter. It's your money, it's your loss impact. So if you have a great subrogation team that is really going after that, that is what I would recommend you look into, and you see how your claims carrier is actually doing for you or your claims partner's doing for you. Mike, gone are the days where you would call someone if they, hit you, and they would answer the phone and you would be able to say, who are you insured with? Did you report a claim? Many times people don't pick up the phone. So we really take pride in working through eSubro Hub and arbitration forums to electronically file with different insurance carrier to collect back as fast as possible for our clients and getting the most money for them. And then arbitration, that's a great way to also resolve claims. Usually they're binding. And so if you have your evidence in order, then you can do a great job of getting that money back and keeping your client's losses as low as possible. And so we also share that information on our website. We let our clients see how we're doing for them. So, whoever you're working with, you want to make sure that there's visibility into that. See who's having your losses, are they at fault, not at fault, and how your claims partner is collecting back for you.
Terrific. Well, it's a great summary on how risk management plays a very important role in effective fleet management. But unfortunately, we've reached our allotted time, and I'd like to thank you for joining us and this great conversation that we had. So thank you very much, Connie.
Thank you, Mike. Have a wonderful day.